staying down. You're good. Woo! Filming like crazy. I'm turning right. I'm turning him right into you, Cal. Just nice and easy. Don't stop cranking. You're doing excellent. Just keep it going. He's just burning drag on you, but you're doing great. Oh, watch out, Luce. Can you stop us again for a sec? Yeah, come back this way just a little bit. That's it. Keep the bend. Keep the rod. Perfect. Great movement. When you guys move like that, you got to keep the rod at an angle where the rod's loaded up on him the whole time. Little bump, Cal. I'm gonna turn back into him. Keep going. Keep going. Doing great. Doing great. He's getting tired. You're gonna get him. Fish. Beautiful fish. Oh, that's it. That's it.
That's what the micro turbo can do. Look at that big old right there. Micro turbo, 3/4 inch piece of worm. You'll see the results. That's about 6 pounds. Hey guys, Cal Kellogg here. That 6-pound fish you saw in the beginning of this video, that was caught on this rig right here. A micro turbo, a couple beads, an octopus hook. That's actually a European carp hook, and I had about a 3/4 inch piece of worm threaded on that hook. It's been very successful at Collins Lake and throughout Northern California. We've been catching a ton of fish on this. But I was out a couple days ago and we were fishing in heavy winds, and I was consistently getting hit on this rig. I was hooking fish on this rig, but at one point we lost 7 fish in a row on this rig, and I was getting super frustrated. I still truly don't understand how you can get hooked on a super needle sharp octopus hook like that and get off so easily, but the trout were getting off. Well, that day I came up with an alternative rigging that started putting fish in the boat, and it's something that you should be aware of if you're out in the water and you're getting short strikes on worms, or you're hooking fish on worms and you're losing them. This is a labor-intensive way to rig a worm, but man, when the fish are being fickle and they don't want to stick, it will save your day. Let me grab some stuff. I'll be right back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm back. I have a can of worms. I have a bait needle, not a worm threader, a bait needle. And I don't know if you can see that. It has an eye on it just like a needle. It's like a super big sewing needle. And in this hand, I have a piece of 8-pound test fluorocarbon line, and I have it tipped with a number 8 treble hook. Let me show you how to rig a worm on this and set up a turbo and bead combination above it. So I'm going to set this down for a second right here. I'm going to grab a worm. There's a volunteer right there. Set those aside. Now, I like to use the head end of the worm. If you look at a worm here, let me get the dirt off of him. The flat end of the worm there, that's the tail end. That end is flabby, it doesn't work real well. I like to use the pointy head end. So I'm going to take this worm and I'm going to bust off about 2 inches of it. I'm just going to throw the tail away. I'm going to take that head end, I'm going to take that bait needle, I'm going to insert the pointy end of that needle right into the part of the worm that I broke off. And I'm going to take that needle right up the center of the worm, just like this. It's bad to be a worm. You don't want to be a worm. People are always sticking stuff in you, whether it's a needle or a hook or whatever, and then you get eaten. So it's all bad. I got the worm on the needle like that. Next, I take my piece of leader material, and I take the tip of that leader material, I thread it through the needle like that, and I pull through a fairly substantial piece of that. I slide the worm up and I just pull that line right through the worm like that. I keep pulling until that line pops free, just like that. Now I got a worm with a piece of line going right through his middle. Okay, So what we're gonna do next is we're just gonna slide this worm down, and we're gonna push the shank of that treble hook right up inside of the worm. So we have a worm. Now is a worm with a treble hook coming out of the rear end. Now we're going to finish this rig off, and I kind of lost my beads here, but I'll find them. I'll take my bead. I'm going to thread it on the line. Got so much worm dirt on my fingers. Can't really see the hole in that bead. Oh, there it is. Take that bead, put the bead on, just like so. Then I'm going to take my turbo. I'm going to thread it on that piece of line, just like that. Now that turbo is going to spin. It's going to put out the vibration I need. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie an overhand loop in the top end of the leader. And I told you this was labor intensive, but as you can see, you come nipping at that worm, you're going to get that treble hook in your mouth. It's really hard not to get hooked on that. It's natural bait with a treble hook in it. So go ahead, just put that loop in there, snap that on the end of your line, or snap it behind your Dodger, or snap it behind a regular sized turbo flasher, and you're ready to roll. Now, the bad thing about this rig is it's labor intensive. The good thing about it is with that worm with the leader through them like that, you can catch 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 fish before you have to put on a new worm. But you're going to have to take it all apart, thread a worm on there and so forth. But like I said, you're going to get to catch multiple fish on it before you have to do that. I only use this when the fishing's really tough, when the fish are nipping, or when I'm losing fish. But remember that rigging technique, because that will absolutely save the day for you if you get out on the water and the fish don't want to cooperate and they're playing hard to get.